So I just want to be clear on the simplicity of the model here. Just accept that it's possible that the Earth is the centre of the universe after all, and that what's happened is that the system realised that if it tricks us into thinking that we're nobody and nothing, it can then enslave us, and we'll choose that slavery because we'll be frightened, we'll be made to be frightened of the truth. But when the truth is revealed to us, we find there is nothing to be frightened about. In fact, the opposite. It's that because by being brave and looking at information, we realise there was nothing to be frightened of at all. It's wonderful. All the news is wonderful. Forgiveness, salvation, truly has arrived in the form of science and engineering. An engineering explanation for how reality works. Okay? All that exists is expanding light, world of quantum. Yeah, just draw us, take everything you know about quantum, put a sphere around it and say that's expanding light, that's an explosion, a spark, it's expanding light. See a sphere, that's expanding infinitely fast. So just see the sphere. The other thing that exists is an elastic membrane. Stretches the surface. What limits the expansion is the rotation at the surface. Surface tension must exist in order for the sphere to exist. It's force, so it's spherical. That force must remember it's a sphere in order to be powerful. If it forgets it's a sphere, it's no longer powerful, it's not expanding anymore. The bubble bursts. Yeah, so that's the mechanism. Expanding light, surface with an elastic tension. And that elastic tension exists as straight lines, hexagons. Force, negative. At the moment of the rigid body, there's a moment when the bubble should burst. What happens is there's a rigid body moment, Leve 1906, and there's a clamping. And the switch over, so the negative space goes positive and the positive goes negative. So the flower of life and the hexagonal surface coexist in the same duration of h, Planck's constant. But there's an instant of a rigid body, and the rest of it's momentum of that rigid body. Leve 1906, look him up. So that has an elastic tension. It's a single cell, all connected, single cell. The expansion now, next moment, so a rigid body instant, clamp, momentum, next moment should burst. There's another rigid body instant because of the positive energy that's been added. And so it stretches. So that the force that's created into matter, where the switch over from positive to negative, okay, matter now stretches. And that forms a single cell. Each cell has a nucleus. So that's the multiverse with intelligence, because it stretches, it's pulsing. And when you look at the two-dimensional force that's created from that massive sphere, so take a dot point, go 10 to the 136 times bigger, dot point, two hemispheres, go 10 to the 136 times bigger than that dot point, and there's your matrix. It's a wafting two-dimensional veil of ice 18 austenitic at cold temperature, just about to go solid. So what you're seeing is the end of the elastic plastic modulus, the solid modulus. And it can't exist because the colour is there, and the colour has vibration and carries energy. So there's a split in the colour film that builds up on the outside. You can see the sphere. It has a surface. What surface does that look like? It's a glowing bright white light, because the surface tension, stretching, is making it glow. So the light has something to push on, has work to do, and it shines as white as light. That light shines into the nucleus of this wafting veil, this massive sphere that's around the centre of the universe, here at the centre of the planet. Looks like that. Two forces. Light expanding, matter contracting. Centre, nucleus, intelligence. Slime mould. Single cell, infinite number of nuclei expressed in the surface about a single pentagon shape. The whole surface must remember it's a sphere in order to have power to be expanding. It's a long way away now from where the force came from, but it remembers it's a sphere, so it keeps expanding. And that pentagon shape, hole, is expressed as a dodecahedron, three-dimensionally in pure force. There's a hole, black hole density is at the center event horizon. There's a hole, there's a pentagon, but it's a dodecahedron, three-dimensionally in force. It's a construction of this, all these hexagon forces pushing towards a point to remember that it's a sphere, it's there. So it's pure force. How is that created? From the center of the planet. This twists, becomes the tennis ball shape. Yeah, you have two yin yangs, two make a tennis ball shape. The circumference doubles. So there's the color, and it's splitting at green and yellow, making blue the power color. It's like the sky and the lasers, directed energy weapons. Can you see the model? Now, this is why the Roman dodecahedrons are powerful. They're weapons. You create a force field around them. Picture them on a table, black magic. You grow a sphere around it, extracting energy from the sphere, deflating it. So we need to pump it back up again. Massive force, center of planet, twisting, creates a wave function in the center. If you look at this, look down, if you open that up, look down, you'll see a rotating yin-yang, black and white, two circles. So it's the relativity, the relationship between those two circles that's important, and that's the Earth and the Moon. So we and the Moon are linked together with light, because the center of the planet does that. Out here, it does that. Yeah, it goes for a transform. Yeah, an orthogonal force now. It's got something to push against down here. So it's a different action. Down here, that force at the surface isn't moving, creates rotation down here at the center. And that has got a brake on it. Out here, a pendulum arm that puts a brake on that elastic membrane. So we are the strength of the elastic membrane of the wafty matrix, 10 to the 136 times away from the center of this planet. It's so finely balanced. We just have to think big, positive. And I stand on love, 1892. Look him up. Look him up. On my website, look at my research about him. Dr. Victor Leve closed the door. Opened the door 1906, closed the door 1915. So you already know this. You have that document anchored into engineering. The Portland Cement Association, 1993, circular concrete tanks without pre-stressing. That document is corrupt. It is corrupting us all. I insist that you reference Dr. Leve, 1915. Then we can talk. Because then the future can begin. The Jews are going to convert. The message of Christ, one message. One message. Love your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And love your neighbour as yourself. That's it. That's it. And then you can have whatever you want in your doctrine. One love, one heart, one God, one Christ, one message, one Messiah, one number, the Reynolds number. Claimed. Claimed. Ready? Follow the Rebel King.